Hello, welcome to Casting Rolls, where a bunch of theater nerds play little Dungeons and Dragons. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Dungeons and Downtime, where we talk about where we are with the show right now. Where we last left off, our crew had jumped into pocket dimensions of the various planes of existence and had been separated from one another in their effort to recapture Indira's fear. And separating the party seems to be a theme here in the Opaline University.
Probably a bad idea.
So how...
Just the Opaline University?
Yeah, the Opaline
we can separate the party way more places than this.
That's true. It's I guess so. In this, you guys have definitely are not afraid to break that rule in D&D. So how are we feeling so far in the campaign?
It's great. I'm really enjoying the Wizard Academy. I love all of your settings as usual, Josh, but this is really like a standout. If you were unhindered by the laws of physics and nature, what kind of school would you make? And it's like we're seeing both like your creativity and you as a public educator coming through. You're like,
here we have the ancient library that's completely empty.
Yes. Well, no
books.
No students ever set foot on this campus, so they didn't ever have a chance to it's like they were getting ready and then the apocalypse hit or something. So
I'm wondering if this says something about Josh, where he's like, yes, the perfect school, one with no children.
No, children are what. That's why the university feels so weird, is because there are no people in it. It's like one of those liminal spaces where there should be people and they're not.
God, you ever been in a classroom with no desks? That's so creepy.
Mm-hmm.
I have.
Yeah, we all have.
After you clean out for the season, you're there.
No, I've been in empty shell rooms. I work at a university doing AV nerd stuff, so I've been in there before there were even walls.
Yes.
I will say, growing up, that was like such a treat, was going into the school during the summertime with rollerblades. Those hallways were fantastic.
End of the year, I would sneak. There was a couple of years I snuck Sully into my classroom. It was just like no kids in the building, just like cleaning my room. I'm like, Sully, hide in this room. Don't bark.
I love I'm really enjoying the game. I really love Indira. She's like a very fascinating character. I think it's fun to learn about a character in pieces, which is like very, very interesting concept. I'm like, Josh's brain. If only I had a wrinkle, a single wrinkle on my brain the size of Josh's. But I love it.
Like with the aspects, curiosity without any bounds on it. I'm going to do harmful experiments and could care less about the consequences because I'm curiosity. I'm not consequences. So, the lovely heartbreaking moment of, what about free? Who?
Yes.
Yeah, because she moved on.
Josh,
she's like.
Well, here's the thing. I feel like Josh always makes you always make an NPC where you're like, this is the one, the ace. I don't know if you go out to like make me obsessed with a random NPC, but I'm the Sam Smorkle enjoyer who's like, yes, this NPC I'm invested in randomly. I think Free you did intend for me to. I don't know if you intended for the level I was obsessed with.
I did not intend for Andalus to like become Free's dad. But I did.
You certainly didn't intend for me to teach him language.
No, I specifically planted Free and that whole curiosity thing as a like ethical conundrum for Andalus.
Yes.
Because what does it mean to be alive when you are a construct? And
it worked. I had big feelings about it. So it definitely worked.
The other thing is with Indira, we talk about like how we've liked meeting Indira and how she's an interesting character, and then I'm like, well, we really haven't met her yet.
You met her once, and she was cold and logical, and
and we've met like aspects of her personality, and it's like at the same time, it's like if you removed someone's fear or someone's creativity, like how much radically different that person would be, and so it's like. And how those different parts of your personality balance each other. So it's like, we haven't even really met her yet.
No.
We've gotten hints at who she is.
You spent the most time with Joy because Joy is the one that wants to actually talk to you, but the other ones are in the background. But the whole idea there was just like when you are one of the most powerful people on this continent, and the continent is falling to shit. Like, what do you have to let go so that you can properly respond to those type of situations? And so she.
Wow. It's real.
Yeah.
I do love anger being crass. I think that's like really great. Like that, not just like that they are of a standoffish personality, but that they are like extremely vulgar too.
Because like a high class wizard, when are they going to lose their cool and actually like let their truth out? And that's when they're angry. Yeah.
Well, it's also very funny having the Aether Dust, since we're such experienced players. I think some like lesser experienced players would look at Aether Dust and be like, we'll just steal this and this will be fine. But we've played so much tabletop that we're like, and I think our characters are just very conscious of the world they're in as well. And it's very like, oh, this stuff could have serious consequences if we are not careful. Like mummy in the city kind of size consequences.
Oh,
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about. I wonder if that's still there. Let's go on a field trip. I want to know.
Yeah, it is.
God, amazing.
Perhaps in our interlude when you guys are back in Anarvir, you'll see.
We can play the B team.
Yeah.
I hope it's a big tacky museum. I hope it's like tourist trap that we get to like go buy a souvenir at.
It's a ticket taker
like
themed restaurant.
Yes.
Even better, it got pulled from like some other like unknown part of the world, and now it's like Q2 or 3 centuries down the line, that country starts accusing Anarvir of like theft, and
I think it's more like
cultural goods.
I think it's more like jury's been trying to figure out how to get royalties on it, but not admit fault for years now.
It wasn't jury's fault, and I don't actually think any of the other ticket takers ever figured out, including Kaimata.
Unless you told us. No,
I don't think
who knew.
Kaimata doesn't. Anyone know? Nobody knows. Nobody knows how it got there.
We're just burdened with knowledge.
It was Aramon. Because he staged the attack, the dragons sowing chaos in the city, attacking.
I'm personally gonna blame Yorian, so I think Yorian did it.
I need to go back and watch the whole campaign again, but I do think there is a moment where Kaimana puts 2 and 2 together.
Well, I think
someone
says what the beans could do. Yeah.
I think it's the princess is talking to you about it. I think the princess talks to you about it. Alora says something about it, and I think you make a roll to put it together. And I think Kaimana did put it together, and then just decided not to tell any of us. I'm almost certain.
Well, I think
he correctly made the right decision there.
Oh, the jury would have killed you.
I think there's definitely a moment.
Source would have been cool with it because that's what they did with the beans. You don't know what it's going to do until you plant it.
Yeah. There's definitely a moment with Kefkin, I think, where he mentioned that the beans could have done something like that. So, yeah. Because
I miss Kefkin. I love Kefkin.
He's dead.
Really.
So
that's what you say. I don't trust you. You just said that they don't die. They go to a different place. He's out there.
Kefkin's not a god, though. He was just a powerful.
I loved him.
He was just a powerful cloud giant. Yeah.
Jace was like, Jace was like, I think we got to kill this guy, and I was like, damn. Like the meme. Yes, I think we have to kill this guy. Damn.
Rat.
His sister's I mean, Ms. Mira's still out there. His sister's still out there.
I love her. Oh, I love her.
Well, we've got a couple questions from Brandon, our best and most amazing watcher and viewer.
Him and Andrew. Brandon and Andrew. Those are our boys.
Shout out to Andrew.
So initially I thought only Andalus and Bonnie and Ravik would be here, and Ravik's out. And Atwood's here. And Rob's here. So Robbie's going to get Ravik's question, and we'll just see how that goes. So Andalus. Andalus, how has Andalus felt about his friends and the way they perceive him since being uncovered as a construct? As it allows him to loosen up, or does he feel more tense?
I definitely have some things I've been planning on touching on, getting into it more, and very specifically, of course, Jace said something to me at some point that changed how I thought about the character. That's when I messaged you, Josh, and I was like, what is that actually? Which I thought was very fun bit of, let's add some flavor into that actually. Some backwards writing, which is always good. But I think in a way it's just made him like less guarded, and I always set out to make a character a certain way, and they always just become something else. Like Jury definitely became like a crybaby boy failure, as we all know. Because the dice led him that way, and I was happy to do it.
This was his city.
Yeah.
Look, I was happy to do that. And Andulis was supposed to be like a very wholesome, very sweet boy, but he's become kind of like a hothead, like very passionate, like feels very strongly at all times about stuff guy, and I really like playing him that way. I think it's been very fun to develop that, and it's almost just been like he's getting more comfortable with you also. That's just come out, which I think is fun.
Well, two things. One with that, I think it's an interesting dichotomy that you have the construct, which are data. It's logic based. Is the one that is the most passionate member of our party.
Yes, because I very much wanted him to not be the robot stereotype, because I love making anti-stereotype characters. So I think that was a big part of it.
I think the change also came along with like a reveal that was really powerful, which was like unlocking elements of your forgotten past. And since we know that like Lightforged are homes for lost souls, it was interesting that like that transformation of Andulis began to take shape like when some of those old memories came back. So it's almost like maybe some elements of that soul are finally coming out.
Very true.
Yeah, and the episode where we all revealed secrets except for a certain rabbit.
I don't know what you're talking about.
She managed to get me too, because I just love a good love story. So I just wanted to know. I was like, this is important information. And everyone else was like, no, it's not. And I was like, yes.
Yeah,
so very good for me.
But that was because there's as a player, we all know each other so well, having done the other campaign and knowing each other for years in the theater world and other places.
Friendships, yes.
That there's always this is a collaborative game. These people have to come together and become one unit. But we're also really enjoy the role playing and how to be true to the character, who wouldn't do that necessarily with these other people at first. And so how do you organically and naturally, but still somewhat artificially, create this bond? And so that reveal, okay, everyone has to tell a secret. Okay, that allowed us to get some of the backstory and progress that to a more comfortable point as a player, because I'm still holding things back, but I'm not having to I'm not having to hold things back from other players. It's Kieran not having bothered to explain something because it's so obvious to him, because that's the way it is.
It was very funny. One of my favorite scenes is still when I thought I revealed a big secret, and then everyone else starts revealing their much bigger secrets, and then you're talking about your secret, and I was like, oh, jeez. Mr. Rifton's really taking the heat off me. It's one of my absolute favorite moments. It's so me and Jason meme about it all the time.
Yeah, but that was a fun, organic, in-game way to get us a step further down the party path.
Yep.
Where okay, how do you establish that trust in another person who you recently met? Well, okay, we've each revealed a secret. Okay, I don't 100% trust you, but I trust you a lot more than I did yesterday. And so that, I think, gives us more options moving forward.
Yeah. So that's me.
Oh yeah, Bonnie. How does Bonnie feel spiritually? Was there a place of gathering or worship in her village? I think every time Brandon asks a question, he is trying to get something from Bonnie's backstory.
It's so funny. He's so smart that he's like sharp about it.
So there's two answers to that question, and I can't answer the one that predates Bonnie's involvement with Harold's village.
Right. Yeah.
because that'll be massive spoilers.
That would be,
for
yeah.
other stuff. But the second one is, the village of Hopscotch is loosely based off of like 19th century, early 19th century Ireland. Like, so just kind of all of the cultural touchstones that you would kind of imagine going along with that, like harvest dances and this world's equivalent of like baptisms and various religious significance. And I guess there's a bit of a hint that Bonnie's like not originally of Harold's culture, but she definitely assimilated and practiced. But whether she truly believes or not, I think is something that's going to have to come out later in the story.
Yeah. Good. This is for Ravik, but Kieran can answer it. Centaurs or sphinxes?
Oh, wow.
To answer for Ravik, it's all good.
Yeah, I think that's an appropriate response. I think the only thing
who is more likely to say yes in any specific given moment?
I think there was only one thing, like Ravik made it really clear that like a Drider might be pushing it too far. But other than that, I think it's fair game.
We get him drunk enough, that's not even a problem anymore.
And we know I love the sphinxes. I mean, I'm apparently a riddle master. Very stupid. We've learned. I love the riddles.
I think that matches like a computer analytical like construct.
Well, I think there's a better reason, which which I can't.
Oh well, 100%. But I also think like if if we're going with like the construction of Lightforge,
he's like these follow a logic train.
Yeah. who in the
what
previous
could possibly
campaign
match this and match this, but not match?
Well,
yeah.
And it's also like witch culture. Like riddles are very embroiled in witch culture.
100%.
So, and obviously I have some kind of fake connection with my chicken and everything. So it's like, something's there.
For me, he said the university seems like it would have been a dangerous place if it were ever opened. What function would the living maze have served? An area for trials and tests. Yeah, I mean, I think like a magic school should have some element of danger and surprise to keep the university students on their feet, but like it's a dangerous place because it's not managed and it's been left to kind of go wild. The maze is only living because confusion took it over, and the whole thing with sphinxes and their mazes, like a maze is the layer of a sphinx, and they gain power and prestige by their maze, and so when the maze was taken over by confusion, because now it was confusion's layer, it warped to match confusion's mindset, which is like, constantly shifting direction. Why is this thing alive? It shouldn't be alive. Like those elements of confusion kind of took over. So once the maze is put back into Thalumus's full control, it will just be a typical Sphinx maze and not be a living maze.
Well, and something funny too, pull back the curtain a bit. Josh was like, hey, where do you think you guys are going next session? Before the previous session, and I was like, yeah, I think we're gonna finish the maze.
Nope.
And not do the tower yet. And then everyone, so here's the thing, Andulicite, I would be like, let's go do this, but Andulicite truly cannot put forth he cannot lead us anywhere. He refuses to do it. So I was like, I'll do whatever everyone else will do, which is he just will not. He has to do that. And so I couldn't try to steer us towards that. And I was like, well, I guess everyone else was thinking we're going to the tower. I really thought we were going to the maze, which is very funny. So I accidentally lied to Josh. I was like, I'm sorry, Josh.
It's perfectly okay.
I'm sure you had.
I'm prepared for whatever situation you guys fall into. For the most
part. With us, you gotta be. But then Ravik was like, "We're going to the tower," and I was like, "What?
Yeah.
Okay."
There's also the convenient, let's take 10 minutes for a bathroom break, guys, because I need to change the map that I had out.
Yep. So funny to me.
Speaking of dangerous magical schools, I mean, it's like the one we've had, which was in campaign 1, was us solving a murder mystery.
That's true. Yeah. And I think part of the reason why I really wanted you guys to go to the Opaline University is because you only ever went to the the Violet Conclave once, and that was only Abel went there briefly, right? And so like you didn't get to see what a magical university, because the other one was like an adventurers university. Yeah. It had a little bit of magical elements, but and
it was funny too because it made you feel some kind of way about Jury being in Vox Populi, which was very funny. That was hysterical. I was like, why does no one trust me? And you all were like, ugh.
Well, we will see what new adventures unfold and whether we'll ever get Bonnie's backstory.
Yeah. What do you think Ravik will bone next? Put it in the comments.
Oh God.
Oh no.
I mean, like technically he's aside from Indira, he's boned the only other living creature in the valley. So
what do we think is gonna be
everything else in the valley is constructs. So
and I'm not sure that would stop him.
That's true. I mean, it just depends. But we'll see where that all heads next time. And thank you all for joining us.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.